Quantum Muse Books. This is Tim. I'm Kevin. And today we're going to talk about
Noobs.
Noobs.
And we just had a conversation before we started the video here that Noobs actually is an, what's the word? The letters that make it acronym. There we go.
Huh?
We can edit that out.
I know. No, come on. That's my big moment right there. Yeah.
Noobs is actually an acronym for new out of box. Like brand spanking new, doesn't know anything yet.
I just thought it was some just derogatory term for new people, basically, which I guess...
Which it is.
It is, but there was some effort put into it, which I appreciate more now. I think,
I always thought it was a contraction of newbie, but I discovered it someplace. Yeah. Noobs. Noobs are a wonderful tool for immersing characters in the story, to be able to fill in backstory without having to go through a whole lot of description. You know, it's just something comes up and the hero explains it to the noob. In many stories, the main hero is the noob.
You got Lord of the Rings.
It's Star Wars.
Star Wars, yep.
In fact, they have this traditional thing called the hero's quest.
Joseph Campbell, right?
Yeah, I think so,
Yeah.
Where the hero starts off as a poor farm boy who doesn't know anything, and then gets drawn into this adventure, and he has a mentor who teaches him stuff, and eventually the mentor is taken away, and he has to go the rest of the way on his own, and then he eventually overcomes the protagonist or the enemy, whatever's going on, and the story ends and we're all happy.
The journey into the darkness to bring back the light.
Yeah.
Oh, it's English, Mrs. Smith, high school, Methuen.
Oh, really? You learned something in school?
I did.
Wow.
That was it.
So anyways, a noob is just a wonderful way to fill in the story to the reader, because the reader has to learn along with the noob, and you don't have to have somebody, just pages and pages of exposition explaining what's going on to the reader.
Now, here's a question. Is that considered more of like a trope nowadays? I mean, you have, not the last one, but like Harry Potter would maybe be considered a noob, right? He's kind of thrust into Hogwarts and doesn't know anything about being a wizard and whatnot. Super awesome books. I love Harry Potter and whatnot. But is it kind of something that's been overdone? I don't know. Just a thought. Or is it something that, done right, people are going to be able to do it forever?
Yeah, it seems to be one of those things that everybody recognizes and enjoys, to the point of where if somebody goes differently with the story, from the noob ends up turning into a bad guy.
Oh, okay.
Or he gets killed off in chapter 3 and somebody else is going to be the main character of the story. That upsets readers because they're so used to what the plot is normally going to be.
Okay. That makes sense.
But, as I said, it can be overdone, and it can go exactly the opposite way with like Thomas Covenant.
Okay.
Really
I have not read those, but
Congratulations.
Yeah.
It's another thing you've achieved. I'm not a fan of Thomas Covenant because, he's a pathetic character. He is a noob, but he doesn't, I don't think he's an anti-hero. He's just there.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people really, really hate him. But it was a popular book series. You can't tell what's going to happen.
Fair enough. So I guess if we consider the noob, then what's the opposite of a noob? We got the
expert.
The expert.
The smartest person in the room.
Okay. So what's a good example of that then?
Sherlock Holmes.
Okay. So we have detective. How about in speculative fiction, science fiction, fantasy, horror? I was thinking Mark Watney from The Martian.
Oh yes, yeah.
He survives. So he's good at botany and surviving on Mars.
And figuring out how everything works, remembering that there was a crashed ship, so he can go to that to recover communication stuff, to build. And so he seems to have everything. In fact, there's a phrase for some characters like Mary Sue or a Tommy Sue.
I think it's Mary Sue and Gary Stu.
Okay.
I learned those from one of my friends. I have no idea where they came from, though. I'd be interested to know if anybody knows. And you watch this, put it in the comments. If
you remember Star Trek's Next Generation?
Yes. Yeah.
There are people who truly hated Wesley Crusher.
Really?
Yes, because he was also a noob, but he knew everything. He could do everything. He was better than anybody else on the crew. And, whenever there's a problem, he could solve it.
Really?
Yeah.
I always thought that was Data, and I like Data.
Well, true.
Yeah.
But there was actually at one of the science fiction conventions that the actor Will Wheaton went to. There was actually a panel on the problem with Wesley Crusher.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they let him on? Was he on that panel?
No. He just realized that people saw him as a problem with the
Really?
television series.
Oh man, I like the Next Generation, and I don't know, not that he was my favorite character or anything like that. I think he's done a lot for science fiction, you know.
So it's just that you need a balance, you know.
Yeah.
If you have a person who knows everything, the Sherlock Holmes and the other main characters who know more than anybody else in the room, they have to have some mystery that they have to solve that they don't have all the information for yet. So they have some challenge put before them that they have to overcome.
Okay.
Rather than a person who just can do anything and nothing is a challenge for them.
All right, that makes sense.
Even with Conan, he had to face challenges that he had to overcome. There's also sometimes that the noob is not the main character, where the noob is the sidekick.
All right, that makes sense. I mean, you know, he should be the sidekick, right?
Yeah, Watson's the sidekick, and he actually runs into Sherlock Holmes, and then they become buddies, and now Sherlock Holmes has to explain everything to
the
Watson.
stupid doctor guy, right?
Yeah.
He's just a doctor. He doesn't know anything. So.
But he, you know, in that way the reader gets to see what's going on and understand what's going on in Sherlock's mind without having to have a whole lot of
I guess Sherlock
inside of his thoughts.
Yeah, it'll be internal monologue or him just walking around, you know, and I don't know, occasionally fighting people and pointing stuff out to. Is it Lestrade? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lestrade, very good.
Well, I have my moments.
All right. And in my novel Lockdown, the noob is a side character who ends up growing to be a key person to the conclusion of the story. So the secondary characters, noobs, if they are secondary characters, need to have an arc too in order for some big work like a novel to take place.
Okay.
Although Watson doesn't grow that much in relation to Sherlock.
No.
Sherlock doesn't grow that much either. But in particular genres, they don't need to grow.
Yeah, no, I read a lot of detective. I like Robert B. Parker's Spencer novels, and you know, Spencer from the first book is pretty much Spencer from the last book, and I'm okay with that. You know, I mean, certain things he'll date Susan, he'll break up with Susan, he kind of raises a kid, but he's always pretty much a knight in shining armor, and I'm okay with that. You know. So
in fantasy, there's the Dresden Files, where again he's a supernatural detective sort of thing that allows to maintain a balance between the warring factions within that particular universe.
Yeah. All right.
So, anyways, noobs, use them. There can be a lot of fun, and they can explain things without having to put a lot of exposition in your stories.
Or just kill him off. That's okay too. Oh wait, no.
No, probably not.
Right,
well, you can kill the noob if he's the sidekick after he's already used his purpose.
You can kill him off. Yeah.
That would give the author, you know, the hero more motivation, which happens in some stories.
Yeah.
The sidekick gets killed, and that motivates the hero to go off.
Jason Todd got killed, and he was Robin for Batman for a bit. So.
Dick Grayson. No, he grew up to be Nightwing.
Nightwing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for watching our video. This is Kevin.
And that's Tim. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Remember to subscribe and like and ring that bell so you can see more of our videos. Bye.
Have a good one.